Hello and welcome. You're watching Gravitas Plus with me, Hemkaur Suraya. Let's talk about Tylenol, the brand name for what we call in India paracetamol, which is the name for a common pain reliever and fever medication, acetaminophen. It's been the go-to pain reliever for generations, often called the safest option for pregnant people. But earlier this week, Donald Trump threw Tylenol into the middle of a storm, claiming it causes autism. His statement has left parents anxious, doctors defensive, and public health agencies scrambling to respond. Before you decide how you feel about this announcement, let's just first listen to what Donald Trump said exactly.
I want to say it like it is. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it. If you just can't, it's fight like hell not to take it. There may be a point where you have to, and that you have to work out with yourself, so don't take Tylenol. Other things that we recommend, or certainly I do anyway, is, and it's so important to me, to see the doctor 4 times or 5 times for a vaccine. Don't let them pump your baby up with the largest pile of stuff you've ever seen in your life going into the... I think I can say that there are certain groups of people that don't take vaccines and don't take any pills that have no autism. That have no autism. Does that tell you something? That's currently, is that a correct statement, by the way?
There are some studies that suggest that, yeah, with the Amish, for example.
The Amish, yeah, virtually. I heard none. See, Bobby wants to be very careful with what he says, and he should, but I'm not so careful with what I say. But you have certain groups, the Amish as an example.
You heard him. I am not careful with what I say. So just in case you were wondering if you should take medical advice from Donald Trump, I'd suggest it's perhaps best not to listen to someone who, one, admittedly is not careful with what he says and is also, to the best of our knowledge at least, not a medical expert. When Donald Trump said those words, he didn't say this with caution or scientific nuance. He said them the way he says most things, bluntly, confidently, and without qualifiers. Within hours, headlines blared around the world. The FDA followed with a notice to doctors. Labels are under review, and millions of pregnant people were left to ask, did I do something that harmed my child? It was a single statement, but it reopened one of the most emotionally charged debates in modern medicine. So, is Tylenol really linked to autism, or is this politics racing ahead of science? Here's what we do know. Several large studies in recent years have suggested a possible link between heavy acetaminophen use during pregnancy, which is the active ingredient in Tylenol, and a higher chance of autism or ADHD diagnosis in children. But here's the key. Association is not causation. These studies cannot prove Tylenol is to blame. The underlying fever, the infection, even genetics may play a role. When researchers compare siblings, one exposed, one not, the link often gets weaker or disappears completely. The science is mixed, still inconclusive. Trump, however, cut through the nuance, as Trump does, and declared that Tylenol does cause autism and promised swift action.
First, effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen. Is that okay? Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol during pregnancy, can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good. For this reason, they are strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary.
This controversy is not just about a pill. It's about autism and how society talks about it. Autism Spectrum Disorder is a lifelong neurodevelopmental difference. It is defined by differences in social interaction, communication, and patterns of behavior. Some autistic children show signs as toddlers, avoiding eye contact, speaking later than their peers. Some autistic teenagers may have extraordinary memory, intense focus on subjects, but may struggle with social cues. Some autistic adults live independently, also go on to excel in careers in technology, art or science. Others may require daily support with basic tasks. It's called a spectrum because autism manifests in countless ways. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization pushed back, saying there's no conclusive evidence and warning that pregnant people suddenly avoiding Tylenol could do more harm than good.
There were some observational studies that have suggested a possible association between prenatal exposure to acetaminophen or paracetamol and autism. But the evidence remains inconsistent. It is important that every woman continues to follow the advice of their doctors or health workers who can help assess individual circumstances and recommend necessary medicine.
And this is where the debate becomes more than just about pills and politics. At the center of all of it is autism. Autism Spectrum Disorder isn't a single story. It's a wide, complex range of experiences. Some children struggle with speech delays or social interactions. Some adults live independently, thrive in careers where focus is a strength. Others need lifelong support, as I mentioned earlier. It's called a spectrum for a reason. For families, every new headline about a possible cause reopens old wounds. Parents already ask themselves, was it something I ate, something I took, something I did? And for autistic people themselves, the conversation can feel dehumanizing, as though their existence is a mistake to be explained away. Let me also take this time to clarify some of the claims made by Trump. Trump is correct that autism diagnosis in the United States has risen, but the numbers are misleading. He claimed cases jumped from 1 in 10,000 about 18 years ago to 1 in 31 today. In reality, CDC data shows prevalence in 2006 was already about 1 in 110, not 1 in 10,000. And experts largely attribute this rise to broader definitions, better awareness and more screening, not an epidemic surge. Trump also repeated the long debunked claim that combined MMR vaccine should be split into separate shots, suggesting that the mix could be a problem. Medical authorities strongly reject this, warning that undermining vaccination risks outbreaks of measles and other diseases. The idea of a vaccine-autism link, it traces back to a 1998 study by Andrew Wakefield, since retracted and discredited. Large, rigorous studies, including one in Denmark of more than 650,000 children, has confirmed that there is no link between vaccines and autism. Parents of neurotypical children have something to say too. Jennifer Cook, a mother of 3 children with autism and author on the subject, as well as a member of the Autism Society of America's board of directors, said she felt angry, afraid and really sad when she heard Trump link autism to the use of Tylenol during pregnancy, elevating claims not backed by scientific evidence into a public health debate.
This information is going to lead to a lot of people, well, trying to use his phrase, trying to tough it out. Women are already nervous and scared when they're pregnant. They're doing the best that they can, and to then feel as though they're responsible, they're choosing between their health and their child's health simply by taking a Tylenol, well, that's misinformation, that's dangerous.
So what should pregnant people do right now? Experts suggest don't panic, don't stop Tylenol abruptly. High fever can harm both mother and the baby. The current medical advice remains acetaminophen is still the preferred option during pregnancy, but use the lowest effective dose for the shortest necessary time and always consult your doctor. No pill fixes autism, but support can make a world of difference. Early intervention would include speech therapy, occupational therapy and developmental support. Educational accommodations can include individualized learning plans, sensory-friendly classrooms, behavioral therapies ranging from structured approaches to newer play-based interventions, and mental health care. Many autistic people live with anxiety, depression or ADHD that deserves equal attention. Community and employment programs that can help autistic adults live fuller, more independent lives also, of course, make a huge difference. And the bigger story, this controversy shows us how science, politics and fear can collide. Trump's words made Tylenol the headline, but the real question is, how do we talk about autism itself? For now, the science is unsettled, the rhetoric is loud, and the family is at the center of this debate. They deserve clarity, compassion, and above all, they deserve truth.